Well, it was inspired by a European attraction, an idea to draw tourists to the waterfront before it was developed. But 10 years after the Falls Fountain first sprayed its fleur-de-lis-inspired design, some called it a good idea gone bad. Tonight in the WHAS 11 Vault, we go back to the 1980s, covering the beginning and the end of the Falls Fountain.
And here's the moment that Louisville has been waiting for.
WHAS TV stopped normal programming to broadcast the big moments live, the fountain's highly anticipated debut. But how did we get here? It started years earlier with a $2.6 million plan. Barry Bingham Sr., the former owner of WHAS TV and radio and multiple Louisville newspapers, was the man behind the impressive and ambitious idea.
I wanted Louisville to have a symbol that would really stand for this community and that would be unlike any symbol anywhere else.
The 375-foot fountain was pictured to rival the height of the Humana building and draw tourists from all over the world, serving as Louisville's version of the St. Louis Arch. It was designed to form the city's trademark fleur-de-lis.
The fountain will be built on a barge and will have 29 jets pumping nearly 14,000 gallons of water a minute into the sky.
Officials at the time praised the fountain as a symbol of Louisville's riverfront redevelopment. They predicted it would spark a revitalization of Louisville's downtown business district. Because of such high hopes, the unveiling 1 year later, in 1988, was met with an elaborate opening ceremony. We aired it right here on WHAS.
Scheduled programming will not be seen due to the following special program.
The beloved Senior Bingham had died only days earlier, missing the event he hoped would be a long-lasting piece of Louisville history.
Thousands of people have jammed Louisville's waterfront. More still crossed the span of the 2nd Street Bridge, all of them waiting to see the fountain.
Spectators lined the shores and boats filled the Ohio River as nightfall approached. The ceremony included performances by the U.S. Marines Color Guard and the Louisville Orchestra. A proud Mayor Jerry Abramson led the show, but gave all of the credit to the man behind the vision.
Mr. Bingham had this vision, had this dream, and thought about the idea years ago and is not with us tonight.
Barry Bingham Jr. declared the event a historic moment.
An evening which children in our audience will someday recount to their children.
And then he had the great honor of starting the Falls Fountain for the very first time.
It may take a few moments for the pressure to build up in the fountain. And there the fountain, we can begin to see it from here now.
But the celebration was short-lived, and less than a year later, the fountain's grand and complex design proved to be the source of its downfall. In 1989, Doug Proffitt investigated the fountain's first failure.
Just whatever, mostly driftwood, paper, junk like that.
Wayne McBride of the McBride fleet held on to 3 of the 160 special nozzles that fog the base of the fountain when it's running. He says most of them are clogged.
The series of issues threatening to drown the $2 million investment. And after a year of costly repairs and breakdowns, the fountain was abandoned. Sky 11 captured it, hauled off to the McBride Towboat Company in New Albany. Soon after, Doug Proffitt got a first-hand look at what was left.
This is the Louisville Falls Fountain. The giant pipes and spouts that made it once the world's largest floating fountain. Now, paint peeling, the colorful lights fogged up.
In 2000, the city was paying $55 a day to store the scrap metal, racking up a $20,000 tab by the end of the year.
It's a sight for sore eyes, but maybe parts of this odd-looking Louisville relic will get a new life.
The best offer came from right across the river, a New Albany man offering to pay $15,000 for the fountain, and the city agreed. Since then, it has sat, tied to a barge, right on the edge of the Ohio. Well, right now the fountain is only visible by boat, not by land, but some hope it one day may be turned into some sort of attraction, nodding to an interesting piece of Louisville's history. Every week we dig into our video archives to bring you some fascinating pieces of Kentuckiana's history. You can see vault segments from weeks past right now at WHAS11.com.